So, on this Thanksgiving Day, I want to talk about resentment, because that seems appropriate. And then, of course, gratitude and a blessing. So, first, resentment. If you take the word resentment and you think about what it means resentiment, to feel something over and over again. And so, I want you to imagine for a minute this gospel passage where Jesus heals the 10 lepers. And he realizes that his ministry is not going so well because out of 10 people, one comes back to say, thank you. Now imagine Jesus starts reflecting on that, and he gets frustrated and he gets angry, and he decides, I'm not going to heal anybody anymore, I'm not going to preach anymore, I'm not going to do anything, I give up. What would our lives be like? Completely different. But Jesus didn't take that experience and allow it to change his nature. He saw that experience, he noticed what happened, but he did not allow it to change him. What he did is he observed and he remained who he was. He continued to be the person that he was. Sometimes when we have difficult experiences in life, we allow them to change who we are. And sometimes we have to ask the hard question of, why do I do what I do? If I'm going to try and do something good for another, what's my motivation? What's the reason why I'm trying to reach out? Why do I go out of myself at all if the only motivation is what returns back to me? And so gratitude really is the antidote to resentment. And so if we're carrying around resentments, and if we're going to be around family and friends, chances are good that there's some unhealed hurts that might come to the surface today. And if they do, what we need to start with first is our gratitude. We need to start first with what we are thankful for. What are the things in our lives that are truly beautiful and good and true? Those are the places to begin. Because gratitude actually allows us to remain who we are. We are God's beloved children, made in his image and likeness. And the reason why we go out of ourselves at all, the reason why we reach out to another, is out of the gratitude for the love that God has shown to us, out of gratitude for the way that God has forgiven us. And so that's our starting point. That's always where we begin in our gratitude. And the Eucharist, the celebration of the Mass, really is a training school. It trains us for how to give thanks. Because when we come to Mass, we of course bring ourselves, our imperfect selves, and we place our imperfect self on this altar, along with bread and wine, and we ask God to change them, to change us and the bread and the wine into the body and blood of Christ. And we believe that that actually happens. Not only does that happen, but it prepares us to go back out. And that's what leads to the blessing. There are a lot of prayers in the Mass that are done silently or quietly. And one of them is the blessing over the deacon before he proclaims the gospel. And it's a beautiful prayer. The priest or the bishop just prays over the deacon and he says, "May the Lord be in your heart and on your lips, that you may proclaim his gospel worthily and well." That's a pretty cool prayer. I think that works for all of us. May the Lord be in your heart and on your lips, that you may proclaim his gospel worthily and well. And the way we proclaim his gospel is through our gratitude. There are so many places in our lives where we can focus on our hurts. There's so many places in our lives where we can focus on our disappointments. And if we do, that resentiment, that feeling it over and over again, puts us right back in that place. It continues to keep us a victim of someone else, as opposed to being who we are, which is God's beloved children who have been loved unconditionally and been given the power to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. And so, like Jesus Christ, because we are the body of Christ, we are challenged to go out, to let our thanksgiving be one of the primary ways that we proclaim the gospel. And so today I invite you to do two things. One, bring your hurts. If they're present in your mind, if there are things that are challenging you, oppressing you, bring those to the altar. Place them there, because God has the power to change them. He has the power to bless them and make them into something holy. And the way he does that is through this whole action of thanksgiving that we call the sacrifice of the Mass.